Yeah, we're getting close here, right? To the Final Four being played on Sunday. Eagles are the first game, and the second game is the NFC game between the Chiefs and the Bengals. But the good news is, at least in a limited capacity, Avonte Maddox did practice yesterday. We'll see how he feels coming off of that, if he's going to be able to practice today too. So that's going to be exciting. If you could possibly get him back. I really didn't expect him to be back for this game. Now, I don't know if you will or not, but what a bonus that would be if you could get him back for the game.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, that is as complete a team as you could possibly have. I mean, he's the only missing link. I mean, you put him back in there, you can leave CJ on the backside again. Now I like their chances against the 49ers weapons.
Yes.
Because I was watching a lot of extensive footage of this Brock Purdy last night.
Yeah.
And I sent you and Barrett a clip, like about a 50-second clip of what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. And this kid gets the ball out of his hands lightning fast, man. What Kyle Shanahan does with him to avoid him making mistakes, to keep him from having to do extensive reads, to have to go through multiple progressions, is a work of beauty. I don't care if you like the 49ers or not, but just watch how this kid goes through his mechanics of getting rid of the ball. And one in particular, the clip I sent you was of Brandon Ayuk.
Yep.
Dude, this dude runs routes like Devontae Adams.
Yep.
I mean, how he's deceptive on his routes and how quick he is, and he's much faster than Devontae. So now I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, now I understand why they are number one in the league in terms of yards after the catch. Because he's so quick, he hits these guys in open spaces, and before a defender can catch up to him, they've already got an additional 3 to 5 yards. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a challenge. So if you can get Avonte Maddox back out there, I like the matchups a lot better than I do with having to bring CJ down in the box, which I'm not complaining about. It's a good thing. But as much as Reed Blankenship has been in a pleasant surprise in the back end, he still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
He still makes those mistakes.
Well, especially in coverage.
Coverage.
Yeah.
And these dudes, they get by you. These dudes get by you. There's no recovery time with these dudes.
Yeah, no, look, you're right. You're right. And he does do a lot of things well, and he's coached up very well. I think that the other strength is he doesn't blink when people are coming right into his face. He's not necessarily a scare guy. I think he has two bad habits that I think the Eagles could take advantage of.
Okay.
One, when he's being blitzed, he will tend to turn his back.
Yes.
And run.
Yes. In circles. Yes.
In circles. Most of the time when you turn your back, unless you're like a Houdini, like Russell Wilson used to be, or somebody like that, you're in trouble. So no I think continued pursuit of him, the Eagles could have some success. And they turn into massive yard losses. That's not just 5-7 yards.
Yes.
That could be 20. Okay.
Yes.
So I think that's one thing. The other thing he tends to do, and he's actually pretty good at it, but he tends to throw off his back foot a decent amount where he's almost fading. Like he's fading as he throws, which can be dangerous too. So they're the two things I would really keep your eye on that the Eagles, I think, could take advantage. He does a lot of things well, but there are two things I think he could take advantage of.
The big thing is, in the tape that I've watched him, when he starts doing his pirouettes and away from a pressure on one side, there's no backside containment. See, so the Eagles' backside containment has to be that much more disciplined. I know you want to chase him down, but if somebody can flush him on this side, let him come back to you. He's coming back to you. His MO is when he goes one bit, he's coming back to you. It's not like he's going to stop. He's buying time on the opposite side, and his receivers are so good in terms of, okay, scramble drill. One of us has to get open. That's why he's been so good in terms of buying time. But if you can have somebody in the backside waiting for him, now you've got to force him to make a quicker decision. And you're right. He doesn't have the strongest arm on the longer range game. He's very good in the intermediate game.
He is.
But on the longer range game, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He'll throw some 50-50 balls up there. And you've got to make him make those decisions that he doesn't want to make. That is the key. You got to rattle him quicker rather than later. Once he settles in, you notice that he's a much better quarterback in the second half than he is the first half when it comes to making decisions. You've got to rattle him and get inside his head right from the opening quarter, or else if you allow him to settle in after one quarter, it's a problem. Now, I'm still saying the Eagles. I still think the Eagles can win this game, but that becomes a problem. The game's a lot closer than it should be.
I agree with you. You let him get into a rhythm and get hot, and certainly look. He's got a great group of weapons, man.
Dude.
I mean, between McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell out of the backfield, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle, there's a lot there. Okay, there's a lot there. So again, the key for this thing, and we're going to get into the matchups in a second here at 12:30, like really deeper into it. And I got over-unders for you again. We brought those back, Hunter. Yes, on both sides. I got Eagles and 49ers for you. But, yeah, I mean, I just think it's really a matter of the Eagles' defensive line that's been the best in football, like by far, at getting to the quarterback.
Yes.
Getting to the quarterback again. I think he was sacked once last week, something like that.
Twice.
Yeah.
Got him twice.
The Eagles allow – yeah, so – yeah, he was sacked once again. It was DeMarcus Lawrence. So they only got to him one time, the Cowboys. The Eagles minimum got to get to him 4 times. You got to get to him 4 times and make him make mistakes.
And we haven't even mentioned the kid, Ray McLeod. Ray McLeod's another guy who can do a lot of damage. I mean, this is the best collection of weapons the Eagles will face this season by far. Even better than the collection, I would say a wider array collection, better than Cincinnati and Kansas City. We know Cincinnati has the 3-headed monster.
Right.
But this collection of wide receivers, they're versatile. This is the best collection of pass catchers the Eagles will face.
Yeah, because McCaffrey's so good out of the backfield catching the ball too. That's the
thing.
You have to include him as a dual threat. He can do both. He's also a guy they'll count on if you need 3rd and 5 to get you 6. There was a couple times he made one really good catch. It was a little bit out in front of him. And you had 2 defenders kind of against Dallas, and he just sort of plucked it, brought it back in, took the hit. It wasn't a big gain, but it was a big play.
No.
So he'll do those kind of things. And the other thing is Debo really didn't get going against the Cowboys. You know he's going to be just wired for sound in this game. It's kind of like A.J. Brown. You're going to see A.J. Brown and Debo both are going to be out of their mind to have a big game in this one.
Dude, I can't figure out which way I want to go, Rob. This could be one of those low-scoring games like the Dallas Niners game, or this could be one of those 30-27 type games. I still can't figure out which way I want to go with this thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the 49ers do have a tendency, they can force you to play that lower, closer game, but the Eagles have to strike early. You got to make this Niners team play catch-up because unlike the Giants, the Niners can play catch-up. See, the Giants had no personnel to play catch-up.
100%. This is a totally different ballgame. Yep.
So you got to take advantage of every opportunity you get against this team.
Yeah.
As do the Niners. They got to take advantage of every opportunity they get against this Eagles defense.
Yep.
Or it's lights out.
The thing I worry about the most defensively from an Eagles standpoint, Derek, is the middle of the field. I worry about what Kittle, what McCaffrey, Debo too, what these guys are going to do in the middle of the field. That more than anything else concerns me. Like I think I know how good Trent Williams is, but I think the Eagles are going to have success with some of the other guys on that offensive line. So I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Purdy, but it's a matter of how are you containing those weapons we're talking about in the middle of the field.
And the Niners do the bulk of their damage in the middle of the field. When they want to stretch the chains, they do a lot of damage in the middle of the field. And the thing is, like most teams, it's not 1 or 2 go-to guys. It's 4 or 5 different guys they could go to. And then when you start squeezing the middle of the field is when you got the guys standing out in the flat wide open, like the Ray McLeod on one side, or, you got McCaffrey on the other side. You got the fullback out here. That fullback gets a lot of space.
He doesn't get enough love. Yeah, he's good.
He gets a lot of space because everybody's so concerned about the other weapons floating out there. He just kind of trickles out there in the flats. He's wide open. I know. He's good, man. Look, he's another guy who should be talked about more. You're right. He should be mentioned in any of these conversations. Yeah, look, listen, there's a reason why they've won the amount of games that they've won. They're a really good team. I will say, I think the area that they're susceptible is I don't think their corners are necessarily great. No, they're not. No, you can beat them deep. If you get Jalen time, I think they can have success down the field. I do. I truly believe that. You can beat them deep, and if they complete enough slant routes to either Avonte or to AJ, they'll start creeping up, and that's when you can hit them over the top. Yep. You're right. They're not great cover guys. Now, they're all great tacklers. That whole defense is great tacklers, but they're not. The corners are not great cover guys. I love their safeties, but sometimes the safeties can't get over there quick enough. And you get those one-on-one situations, you can beat them deep. You really can beat them deep, but you got to set them up. You got to set them up for it. Take your shots. Don't be afraid to take the shots against them down the sideline of the field, because that's where that's where a lot of teams do a damage against them. I just can't wait to see. Now you got me. I'm getting like you now. I can't wait to see the game, but I'm pumping my brakes. I'm pumping
Don't pump them, man.
I'm pumping
Don't
my
pump
brakes.
them.
Nope, nope.
No, let's go.
No, I will not become Rob Ellis. I'm a robot.
The gas,
I will
Derek.
not become Rob Ellis. Yes. I will not become Rob Ellis.
Oh,
no.
Man. That should be everybody's credo. But no, I think that that's an area I think they can have success. And we're going to get into this in a second, but what I'm really fascinated is the Eagles' run game. You know, a team that went for 268 last week against New York.
Yes.
Going against a nasty, nasty rush defense. And who wins that battle? That is going to be the ultimate. Absolutely. If the Eagles stay with it, who wins that battle? That's the one I can't wait to watch.
And I think the Eagles could have a good measure of success running the football, but they have to stay committed. They got to stay committed to the run. Rob, how many times have we screamed, why are you throwing the ball as much as you're throwing the ball when you can pound this team into submission? Because I think a lot of times when you throw the ball more, number one, when you don't complete it, you're unnecessarily stopping the clock. Number two, you're playing right into a lot of defenses' hands in terms of you're not hitting them with your strength. Use your strength to set up the other aspect of your game. It's very simple. Test that interior early, because 49ers have a smaller defensive front than the Eagles' offensive line.
They do.
Bang away at them. Bang away at them, man. Mm-hmm. You know, make them pay early. Yeah. Loosen them up. By the second quarter, make these dudes have their hands on their knees, on their hips, and looking at each other like, hey, you're not doing your assignment. No, you're not doing your assignment.
Talk about
Don't
it
wait
all
till
the
the
time.
fourth quarter. Yeah.
Don't give up on it if you're not getting huge chunks early.
No.
That's the key. And to the Eagles' credit, they stayed consistent with the run game the whole Giants game. And I know the Giants aren't nearly as good as San Fran, but they stayed with it. And sometimes we've seen them get away from it. So I hope that that's where they're trending here, where this is now. They did some self-discovery, you know, during the bye week, and they realized, let's get back to what we do best. And they stayed with it. So I hope that's the case this week. That's for sure.
Hey, I know we got a break here in a minute, but to address some of the people I've seen, hey, DGunn doing a show from his deck grilling would be epic. You know, I've thought about now. I will sit outside when it gets warmer. I will sit outside.
Yeah, well, I do want us to do that when you're. Yeah.
But I don't know if I could, because see, we do like 28-minute segments, man. And I would have to jump up and leave. I can't just let stuff burn. That's my credibility.
No, when it's nice, I want you to just have your setup out on your deck, even if it's just your laptop. I know it's not going to look perfect, but whatever. I did it last year in the summer from a deck on the shore. It was great. Yep. I want you to be out on your deck, and you got to get up, do your thing. You can do it. Barrett and I'll be there. You know, we'll keep the conversation going. But I want to see it, man. I want to see what it looks like. I want you bringing almost a laptop over while you're doing this kind of stuff. We'll do almost a little play-by-play of you doing your wings or your ribs or something else.
Sandra just texted private chat, said, we're bringing out the camera crew for DGunn.
Yes.
We're bringing out the extra camera for this.
We're doing it, man. You don't think we're doing it? We are doing it. That's the advantage of we can do things that other mediums can't do, and we're going to do it.
Hey, look, man, for the money I just paid for this deck this past summer, for all the aggravation it cost
Show it off, man.
I'm gonna do a show from the deck. The only problem is, Rob, which grill do I use? Do I use the Traeger? Do I use the standard Black Weber kettle grill? Do I go with the green egg? Do I go with the flat Blackstone, the 36-inch wide 4-burner Blackstone? Or do I use the charcoal infrared, the Charbroil infrared gas grill?
Difficult decisions.
It's tough. It's tough.
I don't know how you do it.
It's tough, man. I still haven't cracked the Traeger. My wife just got on me last night. She goes, do you think this is the year you might use the Traeger, since I bought it for you last Father's Day? And
you still haven't used that?
I haven't, dude. The instructions are still sitting inside under the covered Traeger. I still haven't cracked it, man.
That needs to happen.
Well, since this show and grandkids sitting, dude.
You tell me one time you couldn't have gotten.
No, I'm telling you. No.
All right.
You got to cure it.
Well, that's what we'll do. That's what we will do. We are going to do that. We are going to do that. And maybe that's where you break it out. I like it.
You can DGunn. Think about it. You can take, what did you say? You can take that off your taxes. You could probably take the deck off due to a set creative production.
See, you might be able to write it off, man.
You know what?
Now it's going to happen.
I got to talk to my tax guy.
That's all we needed. Now it's going to happen.
I got to talk to my tax guy. Yep.
All right. So let's come back and let's dig into that. Specifically, I'm going to give you a really unique angle that one NFL talking head came up with for this matchup, Gunner, which I didn't think of. I had no idea. All right. So we'll do that. We'll get into some of the key position battles and who has more pressure on them. Is it Nick Sirianni? Is it Kyle Shanahan? Just think about that little food for thought, which we'll dive into when we get back. Over-unders at 1 o'clock, 1:30, Keith Pompey, 2 o'clock, Quentin Michael. A lot in store. Don't go anywhere. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right. Let me tell you about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because knowing who to trust with your finances and your investments can be a very scary proposition. And I went through it for a long time, but I don't want you to have to go through that. I want you to find the right person like I did. And I got that right person. It's Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, you have a small business, you're trying to get your employee benefits off the ground, that's another asset and resource that Jim can help you with. I've entrusted my IRA. I've had 401k rollovers from previous employments, and Jim did an amazing job just helping me through the process. It can be confusing, right? Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can email him as well, Murray, Murray.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.